Huskers' first road test of the year. Nebraska still wearing the home red unis in Eugene. And the Blackshirts tested last week, and not the start Diaco's defense was hoping for this week. Justin Herbert going over the top to Brendan Schooler for the 32-yard touchdown toss. So just like that, the Ducks up 7-0. So the Huskers trying to answer back. First play from scrimmage, Tanner Lee looking for Stanley Morgan Jr., but it goes off Stan's helmet, and Tyree Robinson is in the right place for the interception. Returns it inside Husker territory, Lee's first pick at Nebraska. The Ducks take advantage. Herbert floats it to Charles Nelson from 8 yards out. 3 minutes in, NU trails 14-0. But later in the first, the Big Red offense responds, and what a way to do so. Go up and get it to Mornay, 23 yards on the great touchdown grab. That's called getting moss. The Huskers on the board, now down 14-7. But this one a shootout early in Eugene. Ensuing Oregon possession, Herbert bombs one to Charles Nelson, 42 yards for the big gain, and Royce Freeman caps off the 8-play drive. His time expires in the first quarter to put the Ducks ahead, 21-7. So NU needing to answer yet again, and the Huskers do. Trey Bryant breaks off the big run, 25 yards out to midfield, and just 2 plays later, Trey Bryant keeps the feet churning and then gets by with a little help from his friends. 5 yards across the pylon for the score. Nebraska now down 21-14. But the defense struggling to slow down the potent Oregon offense. Herbert heaves the deep ball to Johnny Johnson, the third. 51-yard completion has the Ducks set up again. And then look at this Duck fly. Royce Freeman in for his second score today. Ducks jump in front 28-14 with 7 minutes left in the half. And Oregon not done there. Kenai Benoit easily strolls into the end zone. The Ducks now opening it up on NU 35-14. So the Huskers hoping for something before the end of the half, but it wasn't that. Lee looking for Stanley Morgan, gets picked off for the second time today. And stop me if you've heard this before, Oregon capitalizes. Herbert rips the 17-yard strike to Dylan Mitchell. The Ducks' 7th TD on 9 possessions in the first half. Oregon leads 42-14 at the break. But Nebraska comes out firing to start the second half. Tanner Lee hooks up with Stanley Morgan Jr. from 18 yards out. 7 plays, 75 yards. Huskers still trailing 42-21. And how about those two once again? Ducks bring the corner blitz, but T. Lee all over it. The easy toss to a wide open Stanley Morgan. 28 yards on the touchdown, now a 42-28 game. And then Diaco's defense steps up. Just under 6 minutes left. A group of Huskers pop Royce Freeman, who coughs up the fumble. Aaron Williams recovers, and it's not over quite yet. Mikhail Wilbon follows Luke McNitt across the pylon for the score, and we got ourselves a ball game. Huskers now down just 7, 42-35. But NU needs another stop, and the Blackshirts get the job done. On 3rd and 5, they swallow up Tony Brooks James for a loss of 9, so the Huskers take over following the punt. Tanner Lee drops back to pass, but has his arm hit on the throw right here. The ball flows right into the arms of the Oregon defense. So after scoring 21 unanswered points in the second half, Nebraska's comeback attempt falls just short as the Huskers drop their first road game this year, 42-35 to Oregon. 3 News Now Sports Director Adam Kruger was inside Autzen Stadium for it all and has more from Eugene.
After giving up 42 points in the first half, the Blackshirts shut out Oregon in the second half, and Nebraska had a chance to tie the game late in the contest, but Tanner Lee's 4th interception on the day cost the Big Red, as NU falls just short against the Ducks, 42-35.
Just really let it get out of hand by the end of the first half. It was very disappointing.
The Huskers had a terrible start Saturday in noisy Autzen Stadium, falling behind 14-0 in the first quarter. Then after cutting the deficit to 7 late in the first quarter, the Ducks went on to score the next 28 points of the ball game.
We didn't start well, obviously, and too many explosive plays in the first half. A lot of strain, a lot of stress on a developing defense.
The NU defense turned it around in the second half, however, keeping the Ducks scoreless in the final 30 minutes.
There were a few guys that stepped up and were vocal and tried to let everybody know that this game was not over. So, and I think everyone responded pretty well.
We made some tweaks, and the players bought in and just kept straining and pulling.
NU outscored the Ducks 21-0 in the second half. Quarterback Tanner Lee had an up-and-down day, throwing 3 touchdown passes, 2 of which were included in the second half comeback, but also 4 interceptions.
You know, we didn't get it done. I think our team showed a lot of fight. I think it's something, again, that we're going to use later in this season.
As Nebraska players were leaving the field, team captains Luke McNitt and Joshua Kalu were giving high fives and words of encouragement. The Big Red can get back on the winning track next week at home against Northern Illinois. With the Huskers in Eugene, Oregon, Adam Kruger, 3 News Now Sports.
Thanks, Adam. Now taking a look at the Nebraska-Oregon game by the numbers. A lot of total yards for the Oregon offense. The Ducks put up 409 yards of total offense in the first half, but the Blackshirts stood tall in the second, only allowing 157 yards. And through the air, Justin Herbert, impressive for the Ducks today. 25 of 33 for 365 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tanner Lee also had 3 TD tosses, but 4 costly interceptions this afternoon in Eugene as well. And from the air to the ground, the nation's all-time active leading rusher, Oregon's Royce Freeman, leading the way today, 153 yards and 2 scores, and used Trey Bryant over 100 yards on the ground for the second straight week, but did leave the game late with an apparent knee injury. And what a second half for Stanley Morgan Jr. All 7 of the junior wideout's grabs came in the final 30 minutes, and the 2 big touchdowns to keep Nebraska alive.